Welcome back to the Buffalo Bills Cast podcast. I'm your host, Caleb. This is my co-host, Alex.
So,
And today we're going to be going over our favorite free agent targets for the Buffalo Bills this offseason. Obviously, a key cog of this is we want to be somewhat realistic because I think, I could say I really want T. Higgins, although he did just get franchise tagged. So I guess it doesn't matter. But we're going to try to be as realistic as possible while also picking guys that we like. And who would you like to start off with, Alex?
I'm going to start off with Sebastian Joseph Day, 6'4", 310-pound guy coming over from Tennessee. I have an estimated contract that I'd like to see 2 years, $16 million, with the first year being heavily front-loaded, being $10 million fully guaranteed, and then next year being $6 million not guaranteed. So if he ends up kind of not being as great as we thought, or just next year we just would rather draft a guy and let him go, we can cut him, no loss, or we can move money around easily if needed. So kind of something like that where we get good value out of year one if we have to move on. But this is like the Daquan Jones replacement because I want to cut Daquan Jones. I think he was awful last year. I think since coming off that pec injury at the end of 2 years ago, he wasn't great. He started off 2 years ago amazing, then got the pec injury, and then wasn't great coming back. And last year was really bad. He's in his 30s. We could save like $6 million if we cut him post June 1st. So I think this would be the perfect Daquan Jones replacement. And what Sebastian Joseph Day's like go to, what he's known for is run defense. And that's what we need desperately. Our one tax just can't hold up blocks and they can't defend the run that well. So then you have our linebackers and Ed Oliver getting a bunch of blockers and attention their way, and they're just not big enough and strong enough to handle that. Someone like Terrell Bernard is good in space when he can use his instincts to fly and make plays. But if you get a 300-pound guard on him, he's just too small and he's not going to do anything. Same thing with Ed Oliver. He uses his quickness and his speed to beat one-on-ones. You put a double on him and he struggles. So you get someone like this to eat it up. And I would realistically love to see Sebastian Joseph play with Dwayne Carter. I think on that second pairing early down, both of them are very good run defenders. This could help Carter's development a lot as he'll see mostly just single cover or he'll see single teams. I think this would be great. If you look at PFF has him regarded very highly as a run defender. He was 77.9 grade, which was 8th out of 219 defensive tackles last year. So he is an elite run defender. He had 30 solo tackles, which is very impressive for defensive tackles. They don't get a lot of tackles or they're assisted. So 30 solo is very, very good. So I think this would be a home run signing. It won't be too overly expensive so we can save money because it looks like we're not going to be big spenders in free agency. Hopefully we're big spenders in the trade market though.
Yeah, absolutely. My guy is in the same position group, and that is going to be DJ Jones. So, no, wrong video. See, I knew I was going to screw this up. Okay, here we go. DJ Jones, 6 foot, 310, run defending, one tech defensive tackle. Could need some double teams. He is one of the best defensive tackles on the market right now. My projected contract for him would be pretty similar. I'd probably have him around 3 years, $22 million, or 2 years, give or take $16 million. Allow him to eat those double teams for Ed Oliver. The pass rush really isn't there. It's been pretty bad the last year and a half or so. Yeah, a lot of these clips and sacks are from 2 years ago almost now. As you can see, this wonderful hit on Mac Jones. But the one thing he does do is he eats up double teams and he stops the run. That being said, you need a gap penetrator next to him, and you have that in Ed Oliver, and you can also draft another one, but that's a different discussion. But I think he'd be a really good fit and would really fill a need with this Buffalo Bills football team.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you have to get one tack in free agency and one through the draft. I think we need a veteran there and we need to draft a kind of like future guy. So yeah, I think as long as we're getting one of these guys, I would be pretty happy.
We're thinking along the same wavelength though, with what we want. And it's a
double team eaters that can defend the run.
I want 2 of them just like you. I'm the same way. I want one in the draft as well.
Yeah.
And who's your next guy that you have on this list?
I haven't seen many Bills fans talk about him, but I would love Paulson Adebo to come over. We're losing Rasul Douglas, which is kind of like our playmaker in that cornerback room. That is Paulson Adebo. 2 years ago, he was one of the leaders in interceptions. This year, This past season, he had 3 interceptions in 7 games. He had a 91.9 pass rush grade out of corners. So he's a very good blitzer. He just makes plays. He's not a good run defender, but we have Tehran, we have Benford, we have other good corners who can defend the run. And last year, struggling with injuries and the Saints just being a disaster, he still graded out to be about an average corner, which if that's what we get out of him, average but a playmaker, totally fine. Because I think he can step in for 1 year and be kind of like that veteran that can be the mentor to the guy we hopefully draft in this upcoming draft. And then we let Paulson walk. I have him signing about a 1 year, $7 million, but up to $10 million with incentives like maybe interceptions or sacks or something like that. Or if he has a really good year, he earns more money. And I think that would be great for him. I really like his just athleticism and his playmaking, and I think he'd be a great mentor to who we draft and who can be his eventual replacement going into next season. Because I just don't want to see us starting a rookie next year in that cornerback room. McDermott doesn't really like to start rookies that much anyways. I would much rather sign a veteran to kind of be like the stopgap while we let a corner develop.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Paulson Adebo, let's be honest, his coverage last year was not great. But like you
Yeah,
said,
it
he dealt
wasn't.
with a bunch of injuries last season. He's had better coverage years, but the one thing is he's a playmaker on the ball, kind of fits what this team likes to do, which is get playmakers in the secondary that turn the ball over as they kind of play the cat and mouse game of we'll give you these 5-yard plays, but once you go for the bomb, we're going to take the ball away from you. So I agree. I think he's a good fit. I think you can get him very cheap as well on a prove-it deal. And I think this would be a good spot for Paulson Adebo, one, to probably play in some capacity, and two, as a fit schematically. Also, with trying to play more man, he's more of a man corner, but I think he could benefit from playing some more soft zone as well, which would put him in more advantageous positions to turn the ball over.
He kind of reminds me a lot of Rasul Douglas. He's just younger. The reason I want to bring back Rasul is he's just kind of hit that wall. It looks like he's washed. Well, I think Paulson Adebo still has some left in the tank. They seem to be very similar corners, but Paulson's just the younger guy that has more left in the tank. That's why I'd rather go get him instead of just bringing back Rasul.
More left in the tank and more to learn. Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
My next guy is also a secondary player, but is Andre Cisco, corner out of Jacksonville. He's still really young. He's 24 years old, 6'1", 210. And listen, he hits hard. He makes plays. The ball production was really good the past 2 years before the season. He had 7 interceptions in 2022 and 2023 combined. This year he only had 1, but I think it just had more to do with Jacksonville being such a bad football team. I mean, look at the hits he's dishing out there. He's really good in run support. He grades out well across the board. I think he'd be a perfect fit. And he really does remind me of the Micah Hyde Hoyer vibes in that similar mold. He's a leader, really tough, smart football player, can play cover one high, but also can get down dirty in the box and play some run support. I think he's a perfect guy for this team.
Yeah, and I mean, he went to college not too far from here. As Syracuse. They showed earlier on the screen, he did go to Syracuse, so he's used to the area, which could maybe that's the reason he wants to come here. Who knows?
Yeah. Who's your next guy? And your final guy?
My final guy would be Tutu Atwell. I think you've talked about him a little bit before. I think he would be a perfect fit here. I don't want just to sign him and then not draft anyone. I'm more so in the mindset of having 6 receivers next year, which I know we haven't shown in the years past of doing that. A lot of times we like to keep 5, but I think the more the merrier when it comes to vertical threats. I think you get Tutu Atwell, who has 4.4 40 speed. He, as you see in some of these reps here, he is great down the field. He's kind of just like a Swiss Army knife that could be with Curtis Samuel. Joe Brady can call up some plays. Sean McVay liked to use him in like jet screens and stuff like that. A couple of runs here or there. He was very good in crossers, but unlike Shakir and Samuel, he offers a lot more down the field than them two. So I think you can use him in a lot of different ways. He's very versatile, and I think he can kind of be a 1-year deal and can help the rookie we hopefully draft that's going to be a downfield separation. Ty Felton, yes. The Bills faced single high coverage 60% of the time last year. And the day and age where everyone's running too high because with how athletic defenders are, if and how athletic offenses are, running single high usually doesn't work because you get burned over the top. But if you can run single high, it makes your job so much easier because you can defend the run better, you can defend the short pass. And the fact that we were able to be as good at those with facing 60% single high, imagine once we get a downfield separator that forces teams to run more double high. Oh my God, that'll just open up chunks in the run game and chunks for Shakir underneath. I think that was the main part we were missing in the offense last year, and we probably had the second or third best offense in the league last year without having. Yes, second, you can make an argument for Baltimore. I would say Buffalo is ahead behind Detroit. And that was without no vertical passing game at all. That is extremely impressive. So you add someone like Tutu Atwell, you add someone in the draft, and I think that could take that offense to the next level of just being absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, I agree with the mindset of carrying 6 wide receivers. And I think, like you said, bringing in a guy like Tutu Atwell, drafting a vertical wide receiver that can separate, or even a technician guy that can just really run routes well, adding another 1 or 2 passing elements to this offense just puts it over the top. Because last year there was games like the Texans game comes to mind where just nobody could separate. And then the
Yeah.
first time we played Baltimore, nobody could separate. Barring there were injuries as well, but I still think it's
Yeah.
important. You got to get 2 more guys like that, and I think I agree with you. Tutu Atwell, the production I really doesn't think shows the whole story with him. Good run blocker for his size. The only thing is you got to move him in formation, or he's going to get jammed. But I think they can find more than enough creative ways to get him moving around.
Yeah, I trust Joe Brady for that. I have a contract projection for him being 1 year, $4 million, kind of just like a come in, let's try him out for a year. If he ends up looking really good, maybe we keep him long term and we cut Curtis Samuel. He could
There
be
you
the
go.
Curtis Samuel replacement, as it looks like we might want to get off that contract unless he improves heavily. And next year would be the year to do it. Or we just kind of let him walk 1 year, $4 million, whatever. But the numbers don't stand out, but he has improved every single year. He went from not getting a single catch his first year, then having like 200 yards. Then he went up to 500 yards. This year he had almost I think he went to like 400 yards this year. He had like 60 catches for like 550 yards. He's improving every single year. This is going to only be his 5th year in the league. So he still has plenty to improve on. It could be a nice young gem, kind of like the Matt Collins, where Matt Collins is older, but like we signed him to this 1 year super cheap deal and he ends up turning out to be very valuable. And then hopefully we keep Matt Collins long term. It could be something like that too, or maybe he's the Curtis Samuel replacement.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. The last guy on this list, Buffalonians love, Khalil Mack. So listen, I know he had 6 sacks last season. I know he's 33 years old, but he is just 1 year removed from a 17 sack season. I have a hard time believing there's not more juice left in the tank. Last year, that defensive line, absolutely outstanding for the Los Angeles Chargers. All their interior guys had career years or damn near, and I think he played a big part in that, just collapsing the pocket, forcing quarterbacks up in the pocket into his defensive linemen. Listen, he still had 15 quarterback hits last year. The pressure numbers were still really good. I think his snap count was a little high, and I think that played into it. He played 700 snaps last year almost, and he is at age 33. And I'd like to see that going down to more like 450, 500 snaps. So those snaps he does get mean a little bit more. So I think there's more left in the tank. I think a fair projection for him would be around 1 year, 10 million. I think he could get more, but I also see Khalil Mack wanting to win a championship. Coming back to Buffalo makes a lot of sense, and he kind of fills a need perfectly. I think it's a win-win for both sides. And yeah, I just think there's more left in the tank than people are giving him credit for. And he's still a playmaker in the run game. And also, as you saw there, he loves to bat down passes as well.
Yeah, no, I would love to bring in Khalil Mack if we cut Von Miller. It's kind of like either Von Miller takes a big pay cut and he stays, or he doesn't. We
I
cut
would
him
do both,
and
honestly.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be opposed if we swing and miss on Myles Garrett. I wouldn't be upset if those are our two kind of pass rushing guys. You have a room of Von, Mack, Greg Rousseau in an improved defensive line. You hope Solomon takes a step and Epinesa will be good for 6 to 7 sacks a year. It's a top 10 defensive line. It'll be to be seen if they can step up and produce in the playoffs, but it's definitely top 10 on paper.
Yeah, at least
Only
for the
time will
defensive
tell.
edge group.
Yeah.
listen, man, I think the big thing here is if you can get Miles Garrett obviously just solves all problems. I mean, not all problems, but he solves most of the problems. Um, that defensive tackle spot, if you can get 2 1-techs and bring in a guy like Mack, what does that look like? A Sebastian Joseph Day, a DJ Jones. I will say, I think Joseph Day is more gap penetrating reliant than DJ Jones. Probably isn't as good as taking on double teams, but I think both are
Yeah.
really good options and serve a little bit of different
Yeah.
purposes.
Imagine Joseph Day is probably just a little bit of the cheaper option. I feel like, I mean, it kind of split hairs there. But just imagine we trade for Miles Garrett, and then you have Miles Garrett and then DJ Jones or Sebastian Joseph Day on one side of the line, and then Ed Oliver and Greg Rousseau on the other. Teams are not going to be able to run the ball on us at all. We will not have to. And then that opens things up. Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard behind them would absolutely cook. That
Yeah,
front
I
six would be
agree.
disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot they can do. We have 8 days till it happens. I'm very, very excited. And there's not
7 till the tampering period.
7 with the tampering period by the time this video comes out. So fair enough.
No, it's on Monday. Tampering period, I'm pretty sure is Monday the 10th.
This is something we need to figure out before the end of the video because I would like to know if it's Monday or I thought it was Tuesday. I would like to stay corrected because the sooner the better.
Monday, March 10th at noon.
There we go. So we have less than a week till the tampering period begins. So let's see if any of these guys come off the board by then. But that's going to wrap it up today.
And we are expecting we're probably going to do a live stream. We're talking about doing a live stream
at 7 o'clock, though. At 7 o'clock, I have to work. It's a shame. Job.
So it'll kind of just be like a live reaction.
Well, hopefully some stuff happens while we're on stream. I imagine something will.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we trade for Miles Garrett while we're on stream.
Oh, the reactions would be generational.
I would run around my house screaming probably for a couple minutes.
Yes, there was 2 of us.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap it up today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.